Welcome back. 3-ball walk, session 2 for the week. Major League Baseball. It is now almost September.
Almost.
That's hard to believe.
I
We
can't
started
believe
this
it.
in spring training, and we're actually going to almost make it to the playoffs. I think we might struggle into the playoffs like some of the teams coming up.
We'll limp in.
We limp into the playoffs. Maybe get a late season call up.
And we'll see. We'll see how it happens. I do want to know if we get a chance, and I'll do it this week, is I'm going to go back and watch that. I want to say it was week 2 when we had our predictions on how, and see how we did. I mean,
well, by the end of the season, let's wait till the end of the season. It ain't over till it's over.
See how we did, and see how we did. The American League, interesting. The Orioles had control of that division, and now they've dropped into 3rd place. There's a tie there at the top with the Red Sox and Toronto as we speak. I asked you this yesterday, so you can't answer, but in the last 5 years, who has hit the most home runs in the major leagues?
Player or team?
Player. What player has hit the most home runs?
Oh gosh, the guy for Toronto. What's that?
Very good.
I wanted to say Cruz, but it's not Cruz. Who is it? It's the.
So you're going to sit there and say, if I told you the guy from Toronto, you'd probably say the wrong guy because you're guessing Tony Bautista.
Yes.
Jose Bautista.
Jose Bautista.
Jose Bautista.
Jose Bautista.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking.
That's who you were thinking. It's Edwin Encarnacion.
Ah. Wow.
Yeah.
More homers than anybody since 2011. And that's what's getting them up there. It's the pop. They've got the bats, and it's fun. The Red Sox are winning games in all kinds.
The freezing temperatures are coming soon to Toronto.
What's the freezing temperatures?
32 degrees Fahrenheit.
They play in the dome.
Oh, okay. All right. So. I'm just saying. It's Canada, so I figure, the Canadian teams always flop around September. So it gets cold and it's hard to play.
There's not Canadian teams anymore. There's only one.
Oh, that's why. See, one didn't even survive.
It got too cold.
It got too cold. They had to leave. I understand. I don't blame them. It's cold. I mean, you still got to get to the ballpark. You don't live in the ballpark. You still got to get there. So
it's a lot colder in a few other places.
Probably so. I'm just making that up as we go. So.
Boston. It gets cold in Boston. Yeah.
In that, I'll tell you what, the Royals have won 9 in a row. They're making a run for it. They're right there on creeping in on the wild card and making a run there.
See, how many back are they in the division?
Behind is it the Indians?
Yeah, the Indians 72-52, and Kansas City is 65-60.
That's here, but they've won 9 in a row. They're the defending world champs.
Yep.
And they know how to win. And I was watching them last night.
Yeah. I watched it.
You watched it, the 1-0 game.
Yep.
They're 8.5 out of the wild card.
8.5?
Yeah, the Royals are still 8.5 out of the wild card.
It's that much of a runaway with.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was closer than that.
In the division, they're 4 back in the division, so they have a better chance of winning the division than they do getting in the wild card.
And Cleveland's awful
who's
strong.
ahead? The Tigers are between them and Cleveland. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the Rangers.
Rangers still in first place. I mean, I'm a National League guy, so it's harder for me to really comment semi-intelligently about the American League.
We'll jump to the.
But no, let's talk about the American League first. I mean, the Rangers are in first place, and they look like I forget who's in second in the American League, but I think the Rangers are going to win the division.
I'll tell you who's hot is Seattle. I was watching that game a little. Was it Monday night? Last night, Tuesday.
Seattle's got to be pretty close.
The Yankees at Seattle. Ken Griffey Jr. was in the booth. It was fun listening to him.
Oh,
and they were asking him about the big turnaround in Seattle this year. Is they hired Edgar Martinez as their hitting coach,
right?
And he's got them hitting. And they asked Ken Griffey Jr. Is that what's made the difference? And Jr. says, he goes, well, to be honest with you, he was the assistant hitting coach the whole time I was with the Mariners, and he was a player. He goes, he would analyze the swings, and he'd come and tell you, boom, 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 boom. So now that he's the coach, I know exactly what he's doing because he did it his entire career. That's how much the man knows about hitting.
Wow. Yeah, he's great.
It's not bad. They're definitely moving up. It's kind of weird to see Boston and Toronto tied for the East. I mean, we talked about that. I believe we did mention Toronto, but I don't think we had Boston that well. But we did say, I do remember saying that the most impressive signings in the offseason were
by the Red Sox.
By the Red Sox.
Yeah, and on the other hand, one that we all jumped on board. Okay, and it's the first team in the major leagues to 80 wins. The Cubs
Yep.
Yeah.
are running away with it.
Yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, they got good talent and they got a good manager and
I think the best manager
and
in
a good
baseball.
front office,
Myself.
good and the best GM.
Did you see on those? We always hit you with just little things and not bouncing back, but the Orioles over the weekend became the first team in Major League history to hit 4 home runs before recording an out.
Yep.
4 of the first 5 guys hit home runs, and at the end of one, they were losing 6-5.
65.
What?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I've been a little bit busy.
The Astros put up a 6 spot in the top of the first, and the Braves came back home run, single, home run. Okay, and
You said the Braves?
no,
Orioles.
the Orioles.
You
Did I
said
say-
the Braves.
You said the Braves.
Oh,
I was like, there's no
Baltimore-
way the
No,
Braves
it
hit
was
4
the
home
Braves.
runs in a week.
No.
The Baltimore Orioles hit 4 home runs in their first 5 batters, and were losing 6-5 after the first inning.
Wow.
Yep.
Did Darren O'Day get in that game? Former Florida
Not in the
Gator?
first. Not in the first inning.
He might have.
I
if it was
did
6 to
see
nothing.
a former Florida State Seminole got in the game Monday night, and the only reason I know is because he's also a former Gainesville High Hurricane.
Tyler Holt?
Tyler Holt got in the game.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. That's the game that the Dodgers hit 7 home runs. Adrian Gonzalez had 3. Did you see that one?
I read about it. Yeah, I
Okay,
see it.
they won. They're leading 18-8 over the Reds in the top of the 9th inning. The Dodgers are, and every guy, the first 4 pitchers had given up. The fewest was 3 runs. One guy had given up 5. A couple had given up 4, and one guy had given up 3. So they bring in Tyler Holt, the outfielder, to pitch the 9th.
All right.
5-pitch inning, 1, 2, 3, and fastball topped out at 66 miles an hour.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just went in, throw strikes, get us out of there, and he was the most effective pitcher of the day. And it was kind of funny following on Twitter. Adam Souliard, the former Gainesville High Hurricane, has a big tweet. He goes, "Tyler Holt makes his major league debut on the mound,
Yep.
1, 2, 3 inning." And so it was big. Hey,
Hey, you get them out. I mean,
and then the Reds come back in the bottom of the 9th, scored a run, and if they'd have scored 10 more, he'd have gotten a win.
yeah,
Right.
the winning run was still on the bus somewhere, but it was close.
They lost 18-9, not 18-8. So.
Yeah, they had a chance to come back.
You know, if they did plus minus like they do in hockey,
He would have been.
he had a
he'd been
plus
plus
one.
one.
He did good.
Yeah, I remember it, playing in college one time, and I hadn't pitched since high school, and we just were getting shelled. I mean, it was normal, typical for us, getting shelled. And so our pitchers, we had used all the pitchers, and it was the second game of a doubleheader. And so coach says, "Think you can go in there and throw an inning?" I'm like, well, "I can go throw the ball across the plate, which is better than half the guys on our team do." I said, "I guarantee you I ain't going to walk anybody. I may give up 9 runs, but I'm not walking anybody." He said, "Okay, go out there." So I went out there and same way. I mean, I'm throwing the ball half the speed the other guys were throwing it, and get guys to pop up, and a couple guys pop up, and one guy grounds out, and 1, 2, 3 out of
This
the inning. That's
was
it.
an infield pop up and 2 flyouts to center field.
That's it.
Five pitches.
I threw more than 5 pitches, but I didn't walk anybody. So, yeah, sometimes if you throw batting practice, most guys have pitched at some level, and so,
Sure.
I mean, I'm thumbing a curveball up there at about
But it's funny
50 miles an hour.
because he can throw harder than that, but I don't think he was. I'm not in high school anymore throwing it. I mean, he was just let me just put the ball.
Hey, the best hitters, the very best hitter in Major League Baseball is going to go 4 out of 10 on balls off a tee. Think about that.
I'll give you one.
I can just
Mike-
about get. He might hit
Hey.
home runs. If you take out home runs, you can't hit a home run. I would venture to guess that anybody you put tees on and put defense out there, that's going to go. They might go
I'll
600.
give-
They might go 6 out of 10.
I'll give you one. Okay, this is something I was looking at some analysis. Mike Trout, when he swings at a first pitch fastball,
Okay.
what's he hit? What do you think?
I go
First pitch
400?
fastball,
I go about 560.
680.
Wow.
Almost 700. You throw him a fastball, that's a strike on the first pitch, and he's jumping on it.
Yeah, so why would you
6'8".
ever throw him a
Yeah, why would
fastball
you
first
ever do that?
pitch?
You know, I mean,
Well, but you got to be able to
But
throw a
when he
curveball
swing-
for a strike. At that point, you got to throw something off speed. You got to throw
You gotta
throw
do
something else.
But you were close. I mean, when he swings at first pitch fastballs, he's hitting 6.
Well, that's the old line that the scouts used to use. How do you hit a curveball? Hit the fastball first. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't ever have
And
to hit a
that's what it
curveball if that's the case. And if you go up looking dead red, and I mean, as skilled as he is, skilled major leaguers, I think, should be able to do that. But still,
And the Reds don't have.
but it's not a fastball.
The Reds actually got
66 is a curveball or an off speed.
Yeah, the Reds and Tyler Holt, they had a little bit going there and everything, but they're out of it. But then the Cardinals are in the wild card, and the Cardinals, watch out for them come the postseason. And I know the Cubs, but you know what?
But you're a Cardinal fan.
I'm just telling you, when the
You
postseason,
are a die-hard Cardinal fan.
Chirp,
Admit
chirp,
it.
chirp,
Go ahead.
chirp.
I'm a Cardinals fan.
There you go. All right.
I'll ask you a question. When the playoffs start, do the Cubs do they get two? They only have to win 2 games while the Cardinals have to win 4.
Nope. Everybody's got to win the same amount.
Everybody's the same, and all of a sudden, and I agree with the Madden making and the experience and everything, but always watch out for the Cardinals.
I wouldn't want to play the Cardinals.
It doesn't matter
I
to you
think
anyway.
watch out whoever's hot. I think it's who's hot now. Ask the Royals. I mean, who gets hot at the right time?
And I'll give you
And
talking
who can
about
hit.
And who can hit.
Who can hit?
and
Yeah.
talking about hot. The Dodgers finally. I mean, the Giants have been asking the Dodgers
To go ahead.
of
Yeah.
them since the All-Star break.
Please.
It finally happened this week. The Dodgers are in first place. The Giants are still right there with the Cardinals in the wild card. But now they're looking to. If the Marlins weren't heading in the other direction with the injuries and everything,
It'd be
the
very interesting.
Giants. But that's your team, right?
The Giants. It is an even year, so the Giants have to win it.
Well, they may not win the division. They may not win the wild card if they keep.
Well, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter where they're in it. If they're in it, they're going to win it. So
And if they're not, they're still going to win it.
no, you can't win it if you're not in it. So if they fall out of it, they got a month though. I mean, you know, they got a month, and the way the Marlins are playing right now, and the way the
But
Marlins
who's
are
right
going,
behind
the Pirates.
everyone's pick except
3.5. The Mets are 3.5 behind the wild card. This is the wild card.
I'll tell you one I did say, and we go to that last division. I said the Nationals because the Nationals were everyone's pick last year.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get it together, but they added a few little components, but they were still a strong team with a little more experience. And everyone was jumping on the Mets bandwagon, and the Mets bandwagon. They're still making a run for the wild card.
The Mets aren't going to make it. They're not going to make it.
Well, they're right behind the Marlins, right?
I don't care. They're not going to make it. I'm just saying. I don't think the Mets are going to make it.
The Mets
I think
are behind,
that's-
they're behind Pittsburgh, I think.
They are behind Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They got to jump 3 teams, and I don't think they're going to. They got to play the Nationals too many times. I don't see them. I don't see them making. They might surprise me. I mean, who knows? Again, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Strasburg on the DL again.
Yep.
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Have you
I haven't
Cy
seen-
Young in the National League?
You know, I really haven't an opinion yet. I'm going to see how the last month shakes out before I say anything. Because I mean,
Arrieta's starting to.
He's really good.
He had a terrible July.
Yeah, coming back.
and he's
He's
coming
coming
back.
back.
Oh, the guy from the Marlins.
Jose's kind of slacked off a little bit.
he has.
If
But
he can pitch at
pitches
home,
tonight. He pitches tonight.
but it's not. Is it at home?
Yeah,
They're home.
it's a home game.
So they have a chance. I mean, I think you got to watch the injuries. Are the biggest thing for me. I think the most critical thing is who's going to stay healthy from now until the end of the season. And the team that
Yep.
stays healthy, that's in the wild card, I think makes it. But if you get a key member hurt right now, you're not coming back.
And I have to say, I'm not a Cubs fan. I'm not a Cubs fan, but I said at the beginning of the year, I think the Cubs are going to do it. I just think it's their year. It just seems that it's all coming together. I'm a Braves fan, unfortunately, but I think the Cubs. I just.
But you're
really,
starting to like the Marlins.
I'm a Marlins fan. I pull for the Florida teams, and let's play the Braves. I love the Marlins. I'm a National League guy.
And that one question
Go
we
get
were
Brady!
asking. That one
That
question we were asking on who to play at second base. He is hitting the snot out of the ball.
Oh yeah, D. Gordon is awesome.
D. Gordon is
It's
just,
awesome.
and now, well, if they make the postseason and whatever, Dietrich went on the DL yesterday.
Yep.
No, so now you're really
So
in trouble.
now that second baseman that
And I saw this last night, and I don't. This is a whole other subject for one day. But Barry Bonds looks awfully svelte now, doesn't he? He does. He looks like he's lost a bunch of weight, and it's amazing what happens when you're not working out regularly. It's
yeah.
Well, yeah, you get some. Yeah, if you're, as we always say about football players, if you're a lineman, you lose weight, and if you're running back, you gain weight when you retire.
yeah,
That's it.
it's true.
That's the way it works. So if you're a
Go
power
Marlins.
hitter, you
Go
lose
Marlins.
some. If you're not a power hitter, you gain some.
I'm glad we didn't know each other 20 years ago. because I was a lot thinner. I was a lot smaller,
So was I.
smaller, and everything
So was
like
I.
that.
Weren't we all
And now you'd be accusing me of
being on the roids?
being on the roids.
No.
I'm bigger.
No, because you're bigger now, not when you were at your playing time. He's gotten smaller since we played.
Well, that's just because he's
He-
just
he-
watching what he eats.
And he's probably not working out as much.
He's probably not. Hey, we are out of time. We had a great time. It's hard to believe 15 minutes goes by so quick.
does.
Thanks for watching. If you've ever watched this, send us a
Comment.
note. Say thanks and give us a topic for the next few weeks. The comments down the stretch we come. We'll see who makes the playoff runs. Watch the games this weekend. Get a chance to play baseball.
Play ball.
Go out and play.
Take care.